but Madison's really got you, and I like that little bit of dark arts. I think that's one little bit. It's bubble. It's sexy. I can't lie to you. It's a little bit sexy. I probably need to heal. Okay, you know what I'm saying to you? Maybe I need to heal, but maybe it's because she grew up in India as well. You know what I mean? Like she has a very eclectic background, right? Grew up in India, went to Paris, you know, now in America. Like she has traveled a little bit, so maybe that's why. You know what I'm saying too? Yeah. So I can't even be mad at Madison. She's a little bit. I have to rate her a little bit. Like Madison, okay, Madison, all right. You know what I mean? Not my type. I wouldn't necessarily choose her for a partner, but you know, I can see it. I'm like, now you attractive. You're attractive. But anyway, let's get into this video.
I came on Love is Blind. People can kind of look at me and like, you know, initially want me. Once people start getting to know me, they're like, wow, I didn't think that you would be cool, smart, funny, whatever. Like, I just thought you were just this.
All right, so the thing with Madison and Alex is this, okay? Alex is the star prize for Madison. Let me just say this. Alex is the star prize for Madison, okay? Yes, and someone said she is parentified too, absolutely. You know, but yes, Alex is the star prize for Madison out of herself and Mason, because Mason worships her. That game is done. Right? Mason puts her on this pedestal. He keeps saying the same thing, which for most women, this is going to be a turn off. Which is, oh, if you do this, I'll just do whatever you want. You put on that miniskirt, I'll just be like, oh, I'll do whatever you want. I'll just become a slave. You know, you can walk all over me. You know what I'm saying to you? You know what I'm saying to you? Use me as a carpet. You know what I'm saying to you? Use me as a ladder. You know what I'm saying to you? Use me as a weapon of mass destruction. Like, he wants to be used. He's a worshipper. Right? He is a worshipper. And unfortunately, because he's a worshipper, okay, right? Worshippers get sacrificed. That's the simple truth. If you worship, you will be used for the sacrifice. Even as Christians, we are used for sacrifice. The Bible says that you are now a living sacrifice. You know what I'm saying to you? Let's play a little bit more though.
This pretty girl. I've been single for 2 years now. I don't take that kind of bullshit anymore. But yeah, I've been really hurt over these past 2 years.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry that you have been.
Now, it starts off really cute because really and truly, what they're really talking about is that she is as she said, she's been in relationships where it has not been great. And she speaks about obviously that the relationships that she's been cheated on. And Alex here, who you're seeing, he has been in relationships where he's been cheated on too. So they kind of bonded over that. But what she goes on to say, we know that her background, her mum was on drugs. Okay. Her dad's distant. Her stepbrother's passed away. Or her brother's passed away. Okay. Has died in an accident. Okay. She's pretty much alone. So she's fending for her life. And when she told us that story, I said, she is given fearful avoidant. She knows how to survive. But in her knowing how to survive, she knows how to fawn. She knows how to play. She knows how to play a role to get what she wants, and that's where the trouble actually starts. Because yes, as someone said, she has bad discernment. Bad discernment. Because really and truly, she chooses people that more than likely have the same traits that her parents have. Either she is choosing people that she's fixing, or she's choosing men that have very bad characteristics and values, because she just wants to try and rewrite history. But that girl knows how to get what she wants out of you, but she doesn't know how to get the love out of you, because I don't think she really knows what the love is. But what she saw in Alex was somebody who was more grounded. Now, this is something I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you something now. Don't shoot me now. I'm going to tell you something now. A lot of FAs, especially the ones that are leaning more to the avoidant, I've said this before, you play with them at your own risk. Here's what I mean by that. If you don't give them boundaries, they are bound to nuke you. Playing with people that are fearful avoidant, who have leaning more to the avoidant side, play with them at your own will. They will finish you if you don't have good boundaries. The reason being is because their fear is that they need someone that is able to lead, and that also creates boundaries for them so that they know how far and how wide they can go. You must call them out on their shit. If you do not, they will shit all over you. Because what they've discovered is how to survive. They are key people. Look, when you meet one, I'm telling you, play with them at your risk, my guys. Heartbreak, they find you. And it's because you think by loving them and being like, I just so understand where you're coming from. I really understand where you're coming from. You will be the next victim if they've not done the healing work. They are like a spider with some venom. So when you look at Alex versus Mason, Mason had already been, her fangs were already in Mason. It's not difficult. She's toying with, thank you, Black Widow. She's toying with Mason. Mason's easy to get because Mason laid down his life for her already. And when I say he laid down his life, he had no boundaries. He had his own identity, right? You are the love we seek. You are just a temporary fix. Amen. Right? So Mason falling down so easily, she had already conquered him. So it's not fun for her. And all she's thinking about in the future is, if he falls for my devices so quick, because you see, FAs, those are avoidant specifically. And I consider anxious people too, but I just want to say that. They know they're manipulative. Oh, they know. Because that's one of their core wounds. They don't believe they're lovable because they know, or they feel like they're unlovable because there are dark parts of them. They know they're manipulative. This is what makes it so difficult. Right? This is what makes it so difficult because they know this, but at the same time, they don't want to be a bad person, not trying to necessarily be a bad person, but this is all they've known into how to survive. So it is a weapon that they use. So when they find someone who easily befalls them, you're done. But if you're somebody who says, listen, my boundaries, and I keep to my boundaries, and I will do what I need to do, they can find respect for that person because now they can feel safe. Because remember, they've never felt safe. They'll never feel safe. Right? So they look for someone that they can feel safe with who's going to contain them. Who can contain you? Mason can't contain her, but Alex immediately put a boundary. As soon as he heard and he said about what's your attachment style, because listen, she was winning. With her and Alex, she was winning. It was the moment she told Alex, and Alex said some things. We're going to go into it now. Let's listen.
And hurt in the past. I know how traumatizing that. Madison.
Hold on.
Let's talk about. Do you know the different attachment styles?
I do.
Do you know which one you are?
I am an avoidant.
Now I want to pause it right here because what Alex actually did without actually doing anything, Alex wasn't doing anything. Alex wasn't necessarily doing anything, right? But what he had was a level of value about himself that made her think like, oh, he's a higher value. I need to up my game. And now the core wound is actually activated. The core wound within Madison is, I need to prove myself now to Alex. Before then, she was comfortable. She was on her side. I've got it comfortable. I'm sharing things. Now, with her and with Alex and Mason, the difference was with Mason, she found comfort because she can talk about sex, and Mason ate it up. With Alex, he was very much on, I'm looking for a healthy relationship. I need these things in a healthy relationship. She suddenly realized she wasn't good enough. That's how she felt. Right? She felt like, oh, I don't feel like I'm good enough. But one thing about FAs is they're going to prove that they're good enough. This is where the game actually starts. And this is also where the delusion stick kicks in, because now they have to ask themselves the real question: do I really want you, or do I want you because I want to win you? And this is where it can get very difficult for FAs, because then they get confused about what emotions they carry. Because, well, we'll get there when we talk about other episodes. You know what I mean? Okay. Yes, Mason. Alex is not healed either. Absolutely, he's so anxious.
Madison. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
So, avoidance.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's my natural inclination, right? Is to be an avoidant. When I feel someone's energy start changing towards me, I get scared and I kind of...
Let's pause it. Look at her body language. She shifted, right? Not a bad thing again. She just shifted. She moved from being laid down, comfortable. Now she's like, oh, okay. I need to pay attention. Oh boy, oh boy's got some knowledge. I can't win him over like that. Okay. Game on. Let me get my jacket on. Get my game on, because old boy out here, old boy out here trying to do something different. Okay. I hear it. So she's now going to talk a good game.
I run. It's in a sense of like, well, I don't need them anyway. And I don't know if that's like out of a healthy place or not, but there's just like certain things where I'm just like, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah. And
now here's the thing. Here's the funny thing. FAs are one of the most self-aware of any of the insecure attachments. Out of all the attachments, dismissive and even secure people and anxious people, trust me, fearful avoidants are the most aware, because they carry both the anxious and they carry the avoidancy. A lot of people are very self-aware, and yes, Elsie's about to say it, and that's where the trouble starts. It looks like they know. They do know, okay? But you have to understand the emotional fears override the logic. So even though they are aware of what's going on, the emotion impact of what they feel overrides the logic. It's unfortunate. It's something they have to heal, just like dismissive have to heal their particular thing. It is very painful. You know what I'm saying to you? So what you realize now is, as he started telling her that, you know what, I want to let you know that, my previous relationships were a little bit, that was her anxious side now kicking up. Her anxious side, oh no. Is he trying to leave? Oh, no. I need to prove myself, because in the anxious wound, it's all about, I'm not feeling good enough. I must prove my worth. That's not the avoidant perspective. The anxious wound is, I must prove myself worthy. Okay? And he's about to tell her that inadvertently what she's going to hear is, I'm not good enough and he doesn't want me. I need to prove that I'm worthy, I'm wanted and desired. I can't accept rejection and a rejection in this moment. You know what I'm saying to you? Okay.
I think that's maybe a little bit of a trigger for me, because past relationships, I dealt with that, but like on the extreme end of it, I'm more anxious. I feel like I'm not good enough, and so I want you to show me that, yes, you care about me and that you are not abandoning me.
Yeah.
And for you.
So he's got his own wounds that he's going through too. But the difference is, he says, I'm not trying to stay in this situation. I done dealt with this and I'm not trying to be in it. All right? And that was an immediate rejection of her. He's saying that, he's inadvertently saying to her, she doesn't realize, she realizes this, that I am not good enough. But for him, he's anxious. So because of his anxiousness, he knows that he's afraid of being abandoned, but he doesn't want to get caught up, because he knows he's been in that relationship, he's suffered it, and I'm not doing it again. And the difference between him and her is that he's learnt, and whether it's good or wrong, right or wrong, he's learnt that that's not for me. And so because of that, I'm going to put up a boundary, something that the FA doesn't do. That's why she wants him. This is why I said about the boundary, because he's able to put up a boundary. He says, I have been hurt and I'm not going there again. Boundary. That is something that the FA actually understands, and it's very difficult. But now the FA wants to prove to herself or himself that you're putting up boundaries, you're rejecting me. I don't fully believe you. I'm going to test the boundary. Let me come at it another way.
It's like, let me get away and be on my own because I don't need you to show me that I'm good enough.
Yeah.
I think that could lead to some issues. I don't know.
Obviously, I never want to make you feel anxious. It's not even on the radar.
She said she doesn't want to ever make him feel anxious. It's not on the radar. I won't say anything. Like I said, we got to wait for the other episodes to come out and break it down. But there's more to come. You know what I'm saying to you? There's more to come. And, in that aspect. So watch what happens now, okay? Because now he's told her about this. Look where she's going to go. And I don't even want to say it's necessarily manipulative, but the rejection is going to be painful, so she has to come at a different way, right? So look where she's going to take us to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was like 12 years old, my stepdad had like taken too many pills or something, and I had to make sure that he was like still breathing on my birthday. That was like my norm.
Wow.
So I wrote them this letter, and I was just like, it's either drugs or it's me. And they didn't choose me.
Wow.
Now pause. The story she's telling is a very true story. The story is a very true story. She actually has been through that, what she explained. Her parents didn't want her. That's what causes the abandonment issues. And that's why she needs to prove that she can be chosen. The difficulty is she now wanting Alex because she actually wants him, or is she proving something to herself? And it doesn't have to, it's not like she's necessarily intentionally trying to do this, but it's almost like running on autopilot. So does she really want Alex, or is she trying to prove something to herself? That's a question she has to ask herself. Right? So now she is roping him in with the emotional story. Feel sorry for me. Feel sympathy for me. Feel empathy for me. I'm not saying don't share. Please, by the way, I don't want anyone who's an FA here to not and never share. What I'm saying to you is question your real motive. That's the real thing I'm asking. What motive is it? Are you asking it? Are you saying this? Are you sharing because you really want to share and you want to get some understanding? Which FAs always do. FAs, one of the things, the biggest thing about being a fearful avoidant is that they really do look for understanding, because they never were understood. So they are always looking for understanding. They want to be understood. And because for them, they have to explain things, because the way that their iteration of their mind goes from left to right, emotion to emotion to emotion. And many people can't understand that because they only see the behavior, not the thought process. So what the FA wants to do is explain everything to you to see where they're coming from, so that you don't see them as an evil person. They feel evil, but they're not trying to be evil. But they know that their behavior keeps falling flat of what you may potentially want. And it's because they themselves are being hard on themselves and they don't have a safe space. Now, the question is, like I always say with FAs, is if that FA that you meet, do they have the growth mindset that they want to change versus your patience? That's the key thing. That's the key thing. Okay.
And so I've just had to really like rely on myself for everything.
Yeah.
For a while, I thought not meeting anyone was like a really good thing, like, but it's not. And I've learned that I'm ready to have someone in my life that like I can rely on and like I can trust fully. Like,
now pause it right here. This is also very true. This is also very true. I love that point. Yes, FAs do chase when you leave them alone. It's very true. Very, very true. This part here, again, it is authentic, but it could be manipulation. Again, I want to leave it on the table because we don't really fully know. It is authentic, but it could be manipulation, because now she is bringing you into that emotional space and that web, okay? She's letting you know, listen to what she said, and there are people who respond to this, especially dismissives. The reason why she's getting cheated on is probably because she's dealing with dismissive avoidance. She's not dealing with anxious men. She's dealing probably with dismissive avoidant men, okay? All right? She's dealing with dismissive avoidant men. So she knows how to get dismissive avoidant men back in, right? Make that man feel like he's needed, because dismissive's avoidant core wound, one of the things is not being needed, right? And so when you make them feel needed in a way that doesn't require, when I say this, when you make it very clear what the responsibility is and make them feel like they're going to be a king or a queen and you're going to champion them, they love that. They don't like the responsibility where it feels like it's going to be forever and you may be disappointed in them. So she knows how to get them. But the anxious person is very different, because the anxious person is trying to hold on to you. You know what I'm saying to you? Right now, he's playing an avoidant role, but he's not an avoidant. He's an anxious person. So now he's saying what he said. She senses, as you guys are saying, she's sensing the energetic pull away. And what she's doing is, don't go too far. Let me get the rope, come back in. The question is it because she really likes him, or is she being manipulative because she just wants to be able to have him? That's a question she can only answer right now. We haven't seen anything else in episode 2 to say anything yet, but it's, again, explanation.
It's lonely not having that. And so I don't know if that helps give you context.
It really does, yeah. And
Now, you see how she gave him context? And she told him what she needed from him. She said, I need a man I can really just trust. And she's not lying. She does. The problem is, if he gives it to her, what would she do? Again, I'm not calling her bad. I want to make it clear we haven't got enough information to say that just yet. But if she gives it to him, what will she do? Because we've seen her want him. You haven't seen it when it goes the opposite way. When she finally collects you, will she just now become the avoidant, afraid of love? We don't know yet. Right? Now listen to what Alex's response to this is.
I really got emotional when you're talking about your parents like that. That's really.
I know, I'm like tearing up.
I'm sorry about that, but it's really good that you have recognized that about yourself, and it shows a lot of growth.
Yeah, I mean, even on your side of things, like the fact that you're the one asking me about that, like I think that says so much about you as a person.
Now, I think she really does like Alex. I think she does like Alex because Alex is somebody who's showing her that he has more value. And fearful avoidants tend to choose people, not always, tend to choose people with more value, seemingly. Because again, they want to prove themselves. So long as he stays in a position of showing that he has more value, she'll chase. She'll chase. You know what I mean? But the healing work that's needed, it's important.
Well, like we all have things that we have to like grow in and like.
With people like that, like not like you, but like a very extreme version of an avoidant person.
Yeah, like an unhealed person.
Yes.
Yeah. Enjoy that part of a relationship because I think it's just like fun and like I feel like it's a really good like.
Now, again, once more, she never told us what she did to heal. She didn't tell us how she's been healing. She just explained that she doesn't do this anymore. She didn't say what she did to heal. She didn't say, because you see, something that the FA also will try to do is create the imagery that they are good. They create the imagery that they are wholesome. They create an image because they don't want to be rejected. You know what I mean? So the question is, how does she actually do the healing? What does she do to start healing? Right? Because she could potentially be Delulu based on her own self-awareness. Self-awareness does not mean the healing. Self-awareness is the beginning of the healing, but not the healing. You get what I'm saying to you? You've got a good chance of being healed if you're self-aware, but it doesn't mean you actually have done the healing work. And I'm not even just talking about therapy. Like, therapy is only a part of the healing work. Does not mean that. It just simply is a part of the healing work. Does not mean it is the healing work. Right?
Connection. But anyways, I feel like I've done a lot of work to like not have like shame around it because there was a lot of shame around it for a while.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it is like an important thing for me to talk about before getting married.
So the final point, she talks about obviously the shame around sex, you know, and speaking about it, right? It's interesting because remember, see how and you know how we know that she's trying to prove herself is that she once or twice tries to slip in a little joke to Alex about sex. Alex laughs and does not want to indulge. Whereas Mason, she drops a bar about sex. Mason takes it forward. He makes a joke about sex. Halloween sex, and they both talk about sex, but she's not invested the same way. Ain't that interesting? Ain't that interesting? That with Alex, she doesn't want to. She tries to do that once, one little joke, and see what Alex will. Alex shuts it down by not engaging really in the sexual joke. He doesn't want to do that. But she tells us, oh, you know, I'm not about sex before marriage, But once again, she took sexual with Mason. Whew. Yes, Alex has boundaries. You know what time it is.